Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am really glad you're here because this is our first spring at this property. We've been here about 9 months, and you know, at the other property, we planted wildflowers and sunflowers for the past several years, and they are just beautiful. So this is going to be our first opportunity to plant wildflowers here. Now, each year I've been buying my wildflowers from AmericanMeadows.com, and this year American Meadows supplied the seed to me. So I want to thank them for that. I also want to encourage you to check out AmericanMeadows.com. They are committed to wildflowers, meadows, and they have a lot of information on their website, great customer service. And you know, if you plant a patch of wildflower, that's grass you don't have to cut all summer long. And so you are reducing energy, you're making it easy on yourself, and it's beautiful. Now, what we've been buying for the past several years are cosmos and zinnia and sunflower. Cosmos and zinnia, to me, have been great because they grow like weeds, they're beautiful, and they stay in bloom all the way up into the first frost. So we've got beautiful flowers all the way through October most of the time. Now, there are a lot of varieties. You can check out the website, you can call them, you can reach out, and they'll help you with varieties that would work for you. But that's what we've been using. We've had a lot of success with those. And my plan this year for this property, we've got this nice long stone driveway. So I'm going to till along the driveway so that when you come in from the road, you'll ride along a beautiful swath of wildflowers. So my first step here is to till up this area, and then we'll get the seed and sow it in. All right, so the tilling is done. Let me show you what we did here. I decided to till both sides of the driveway. So we've got a nice entrance coming in. Up there, I tilled an area, that's gonna be the garden, so no flowers up there. That's gonna be tomatoes, maybe some corn. But both sides of the lane coming in, and then back by the bees, I tilled a couple areas too. So right up here by the beehives, I tilled an area, so we'll plant some wildflowers in there. They'll like that very much. And then down along the edge of the woods, I've got probably a 75-foot long swatch. Is it a swath? Yeah, I guess it's a swath. All along here. And we'll throw seed in here. We'll have a nice colorful border in front of the forest. She found me. You did it, buddy. You found me. Good job. Good job, Irma. Everywhere I go, the lamb is sure to follow. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ed, isn't the lamb going to eat all of your vegetables and all your flowers? Probably. So that's why we've got this area that we are fixing the fence up, and Irma is going to live in this nice fenced-in area. We've got to get that fixed up before the seeds start sprouting, but we have a little bit of time. Okay, let me show you these seeds, and by no means am I a wildflower expert. So I'm just going to show you what I have, what I've done in the past. We really like these cut and come again zinnia and cosmos. There are two primary wildflowers. Now you can get a wildflower mix, you can get lots of different things, but these have worked out really well for us. But again, you can go to the American Meadows website, look at all they have, ask them questions, and you can find such a variety. But these are our tried and true flowers that we use. What I've done in the past is just take the bags, dump them into a bucket, mix them up, and then I would walk along and just kind of broadcast them. I probably overplanted. So what I'm going to do this year, based on some recommendations that I've heard from friends and the internet, is I'm going to use this broadcaster, and I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in one of these, broadcaster, but you also mix your seed with play sand. It's got to be dry play sand, and that helps kind of dilute your seeds and spread them more evenly. Apparently, you can see the sand when you spread it, so you'll kind of know where you've already seeded. So I'm going to try that this year. So last year we went with the Henry Wild variety of sunflowers. And the reason I picked that one is because it's not ginormous, they're still very tall, but they sort of have the traditional sunflower head. And I wanted to have, well, that's what I want, the look I wanted to go for. So again, there's so many different varieties. We've also been happy with Mexican sunflowers, which are smaller, but they have multiple heads, very colorful. So again, have fun with all the different varieties. So for the sunflowers, I would sometimes heavily broadcast those in and just roll them into the ground. Sometimes I use the cedar, and I might do that this time. I might try and use the cedar around the perimeter and then broadcast the wildflowers in front of the sunflowers. We'll see how it works out. Well, according to the internet, our go-to for everything, the ratio of sand to seed is 8:1. So I'm going to put 2 handfuls of seed, 1 Cosmo, 1 Zinnia, and then 16 handfuls of sand, which will give me my 8:1 ratio. Even I can do that kind of math. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks good to me. So from what I understand, by having the sand in there, you'll be able to see where you've already seeded. Where the problem with the seeds, since they're the same colors as the soil, you often don't see where they are, and that, in my case, I think often led to overseeding. So let's start here and see. Well, I've spread the Cosmos and Zinnias wildflowers down each side of the driveway. I look like air traffic control here. But before I set the seeds, and what I mean by set is to just ensure that they have contact with the soil, tamp them down, not really rake them in. But before I do that, I'm leaving the soil loose because I still want to plant a row of sunflowers along this side of the driveway. And I want to put it on the field side. So I'm going to get my seeder and I'm going to try and just seed a nice straight row along the back of this row of wildflowers. Here's my Chapin cedar, and I did a full video review of this when I first got it a few years ago. I'll post a link for you to find that. I'm going to place just a few of the sunflowers because they go a pretty long ways. And I've got the disc here that distributes the seeds. This one I think is labeled sunflowers, and it seems to work out pretty well. It just distributes the seed through the wheel, drops it down, and actually sows it into the ground. Now I'll admit I have mixed feelings about this cedar, and it's not really the cedar itself, but just using a cedar in general. First of all, your soil has to be really loose. Now I've got some clumps, some clods of grass and root, and that affects the cedar because it can't push through nicely. So you really want to have nice tilled powdery soil for these to work best. But it does, at any rate, it does work. And again, just like with the broadcaster, you think, I don't even know if this thing's working, but then you notice that the seed level is dropping. So obviously, the seed is going down. Now my final step here is to just ensure that the seeds have contact with the soil. They may be fine just like they are, but I think it's good to pack them down just a little bit. I think walking on them is fine. If you have a roller, you can roll on them. I just drive my side-by-side and it just presses them in. So you can probably do anything you want with that. Again, this is just what has worked for me. Well, there's what we're left with. Everything's packed down and this seeding project is done. Now, of course, there is one more important element. Every living thing needs water. So I do water them at least initially because that helps, in my mind, it helps set the seed into the soil. It also wakes them up. So I water them frequently until they start to come up, and then we do water throughout the season somewhat, but they are relatively low maintenance. Once they're in, they grow like weeds, beautiful weeds. But that's basically it. I do want to thank American Meadows for providing the seeds for this video, and be sure to check out AmericanMeadows.com. I know you'll be really happy with their website and their service and their product. So check out AmericanMeadows.com. If you want to see how this is coming along throughout the summer, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow the Facebook page, because I will be posting updates, and of course you'll see all this beauty in the background of my other videos this summer. So thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. And as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.